Welcome back to a new Pokemon video today, everybody. We're going to be talking about pretty much every Scarlet and Violet set, but mainly putting an emphasis on Paradox Rift and why I think Paradox Rift is so underrated. Once again, before we start, I do want to say this is not financial advice. Do what you want with your own money. Don't listen to me on what you should spend money on, okay? And also, if you're new around here, I make a lot of Pokemon investing videos, some openings. So if you want to subscribe to see my upcoming videos, it means a lot. All right, I got inspired to make this video because I saw from multiple Pokemon YouTubers and just the Pokemon fan base in general, people saying Stellar Crown is like one of the best sets to come out, which I honestly just have to disagree with. I do not believe Stellar Crown is a great set at all, and it's one of the bottom tier sets, mid tier at best. And we're going to look at all the set lists, or almost all of them, but the main set lists, talk about Stellar Crown a little bit, and also talk about why Paradox Rift is super underrated, in my opinion. One thing that's happened in the last 6 months is that Pokemon itself, the collecting, investing side of Pokemon, has gotten a lot bigger, which is great. New people coming in, new people buying products. But one thing I think it's causing is some sets to be overhyped upon release. Stellar Crown has a lot of hype for a set that I honestly don't think is that great. Surging Sparks has a ton of hype, but it kind of deserves it. I think Surging Sparks is going to be a great set. And then Twilight Masquerade got a ton of hype. I mean, that Greninja is still soaring. We're going to look at Twilight Masquerade as well. Twilight Masquerade is a good set, not a great set. So that's one thing, is I think the newest sets that are dropping are getting super overhyped. And there's a lot of recency bias when it comes to them. Stellar Crown's experiencing it right now. So right here with the Stellar Crown visual set list. And in this set, there's only 13 illustration rares, which compared to some other sets is way less. The thing about every single Scarlet and Violet set is the artworks have been amazing in every single one of them. So we can't really judge the set based on the artwork. The artworks have been good in every set. And, you can have your opinions on which is better, which is not. But at the end of the day, the artworks are all good. Squirtle, what we have in Stellar Crown for illustration rares is Squirtle and Bulbasaur. I talked about that in the Stellar Crown video I made when the set released, and you have all these cards that have their own audiences as well, but they aren't the most popular Pokemon ever. Squirtle and Bulbasaur are definitely some top popular Pokemon, and like I said, artworks are great. Full arts I never paid much attention to. These ones are cool. I like the Lapras. And then where this set falls off and why it's definitely not the best, I don't know who's thinking this is the best Scarlet and Violet set, but it falls off at the illustration rares. The illustration rares look cool. The issue with these sets is that none of them look bad. They all have great artwork. It's just at the end of the day, the Pokemon that the card is. Hydrapple, it's a good one. I like the Galvantula artwork. Galvantula, not one of the most popular Pokemon. This Darkspawn card has received a lot of hype. It's a great card, great illustration, like I said. And then you have the main chase here, Terapagos EX Terraform. It's not that great of a main chase to be the best set in Scarlet and Violet, in my eyes at least. So there's Stellar Crown. I just don't think it's a great set. And we're about to look at the 4 top sets of Scarlet and Violet so far in my eyes, and they're all going to blow this one out of the water. So let's go ahead and just talk about Paradox Rift, because that's kind of the title of this video. I think that this set is overlooked. First off, you do have this ancient and future thing that they got going on here with these cards. That's not something that's really going to make this set popular in the future, I don't think. It's hard to tell when it's the first of something to do cards like that. Let's just go and scroll down to these. We're at the illustration rares now. Look how many there are. Look how many illustrations there are. The sheer amount of them is insane, and they're not even that bad. Decent Crustle one. Cool artwork. I like Toad Scroll. He's one of my favorites from the new gen. I like that card. I love that Magmy. This one is one of the worst in my opinion, but it's a cool Galaxy card if you like that. Snorunt, cute card. Mantike, peeking through this submarine type of thing. I mean, that's a great card. Vanillish, Wimpod, This Veluza is an artistic masterpiece. I think this whole set is an artistic masterpiece. But Scarlet and Violet has no lack of art. Art in Scarlet and Violet, really good. This is a nice duo here. Plusle and Minun. And we're not even halfway through. I mean, we got Blitzel, Joltik, Espathra, Gimmingool. One of the top cards right now in the set, Groudon. Got a Minshao. which is pretty cool, up in the air on the stones. That's cool. You get the Minior, Garnicle, Slitherwing, Garbodor on top of all the trash, Yveltal, Morpeko. The list goes on. This is a very underrated card, I think. The Steelix is awesome. Love that Steelix card. And they just keep going. You got Aegislash, Apom, Loudred, a 6 Swablu. I really like this Swablu. New gaming room-esque Porygon Z. You got a bunch of these full arts, the Terraforms, normal full arts. Then you go to the specials, and this is where Paradox Rift, my dogs are all barking in the background. This is where Paradox Rift has its faults. The one thing it is truly lacking is that big chase card, that Greninja, that Twilight Masquerade has. We're here. We have some good cards. Garchomp EX, Terra, Golisopod, Tapu Koko, cool artwork. The Iron Hands, Iron Valiant. You have all of these new ancient and future cards here in their special illustration forms. The Roaring Moon's the top one right now. And then you have one of my favorites, if not my favorite card from here, the Altaria EX special illustration. This is a nice card. Love that one with the Swablu. Other than the big card to make this just a great set like a Greninja, this set is super solid. Complete 10 out of 10 set. Now without that, big time chase, then it makes it like an 8 or 9. But what I see this being as is it's not going to be the best. You have Paldean Evolved above it for sure, in my opinion, but it's going to be a Chilling Reign or a Fusion Strike in the future where it's going to be up there. That's all I'm trying to say here. Paradox Rift is great, and why I'm thinking it's so underrated is because you can get this for $93 a box. There was more available. 11 sold. I bought some of them from this guy. $93 a box. This set is way too good to be going for $93 a box. Now, this is below market price. Let's go TCG Player. Market price is $103. Still, I think this is at least a $120 box. But $93 on eBay from a pretty reputable seller. Dude, I mean, any set, low 90s and in the 80s is a good pickup in my opinion because boxes just never stay there for that long. This set is too good to be at $93. So let's compare it to some of the other sets that people put above it. So we have Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade that people put above it, as well as Paldean Evolved. I think Paradox Rift is at least top 3. It's above one of these 3 sets. So here we have Temporal Forces, and like I've been saying, it does not lack in the artwork department at all. They're all great. They're all really solid cards. They're different. They have different styles mixed in there. Like you have these Deerling and Stosbuck styles versus these laid back little cartoonish styles. They're all good. This Metagross is awesome. I love that Metagross. And at the end of the day, I'm not sure what it's going to come down to that set these things apart other than your own opinion. Which Pokemon you like more in these sets that are going to rank it above another set. You know what I'm saying? Because you have an Arbok and your Metagross, Ghastly, your Grotto, Shiftry. Pretty solid cards. But then you go to Paradox Rift, you have your Steelixes, Porygon Zs, Morpeko. A lot of people love Morpeko, Groudon, Minxiao, and then you have all these newer ones too that have their own specific fan bases. Everybody who plays the games and watches the anime tend to fall in line and like different of the new Pokemon. So each Pokemon has its little fan base that people are going to want that card of. But moving back to the Temporal Forces here, we have the full arts, the Gengar in there, Incineroar, Torterra, some solid full art selection, and then your special illustrations. This is where Paradox Rift does get above Temporal Forces for me. You have all of these new legendaries, the future, or not really new, but the future and ancient versions of these other legendaries, your Suicunes and Entei's and all of that. But honestly, I just don't like these as much as I like the other ones. And that's where Paradox Rift goes ahead for me. But you may prefer all of these over the Paradox Rift ones. And I think that's kind of the defining part between some of these sets, because they're all solid in terms of illustration rares, and they're solid with special illustrations. It just comes down straight up to opinion. Let's go to Twilight Masquerade. Once again, very solid selection of illustration rares, but this one has a lot less. You have 6, 12, 18, 21. Paradox Rift has over 30 illustration rares. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. 34. That's crazy. That's a lot. But once again, Pinsir, some Flora, Dipplin. This one doesn't hold as much weight for me, to be honest. I'm a fan of the Timber to Conkeldurr Evolution line, so I like that one. But I know not everybody is. A lot of people like Pinsir. A lot of people like Dipplin. Infernape, of course. These ones all have their own fan bases, but I wouldn't say any of these Pokemon are loved by everyone, or the majority. And then you have a nice Lairon throwing out the trash. And of course, this one is awesome. I love this Eevee card. But then moving down here, the special illustrations really lack. It's carried by one card. We all know what that card is. I do like the Sinistcha, and the Blood Moon Ursaluna is a very sick card too. I love the honey in there. And then this one is what's carrying the set. If this Greninja was not here, this set is not above Temporal Forces or Paradox Rift in anybody's eyes. And I don't care for the masks at all. But Greninja, probably maybe the best card to come out in several years. It's just a beautiful card. That's what carries this one to what a lot of people say is the number 2 spot in Scarlet Violet. And this is not including special sets. Forgot to mention that at the start. Should have. But no 151 or Paldean Fates mentioned here. We're talking about sets that you can buy booster boxes of. And then we have Paldea Evolved. Many people's number 1. Almost unanimous number 1, I feel like. It's just a great set. A lot of these pictures are blurry, but you got the Spirit Gato. You got all the starters. The whole starters have illustrations from Gen 9. I liked Bramblin. You got Pyroar in there. The Magikarp with the Gyarados in the back. A lot of people don't even see that Gyarados back there. Now, all these illustrations are mixed too. It's just labeled as secret rares, but you got the whole evolution line of Frigibax to Arctibax to Baxcalibur. I like these types of designs. The Sleeping Raichu is very popular. Miss Magius. I love Tinkatink, Tinkatuff, and Tinkaton. That might be my favorite from the new gen. I love that Pokemon. Paldean Wooper's pretty simple, but cool design. Tyranitar's a big one in this set, and they just keep going. They just keep going. You got Rookidee, you got a Dunsparce, one of the new ones. You got all your fools here. So I think these are more special illustrations. You got your Skeledirge, Meowscarada, Quaquaval, and then all these new legendaries. Yeah, this set is solid. I like this set, and I think Paradox Rift is just a little bit less solid. I think Paradox Rift is so underrated, and I wouldn't even be saying this if these boxes were 120, but the fact that they're barely scratching 100, and on eBay you can buy them in the 90s, low 90s at that. There's no way this should be a low 90s set compared when it's comparable or better than Temporal Forces, Twilight Masquerade, Paldea Evolved. I think we can mostly agree on is better, but it's up to your own opinion which is better between Paradox Rift, Temporal, and Twilight. Stellar Crown, I don't think is in the combo anymore. And I do have pull rates here because that does have a factor in it. Any special illustration on a Paradox Rift is 1 out of 47. You go to Paldea Evolved, that is only 1 in 32. So it's actually easier to pull any special illustration than in Paradox Rift. We have Twilight Masquerade here. This one is harder, I believe. Special illustration 1 in 86. That's really, you have the Greninja, which is a very softer card already, and then you have an extremely difficult pull rate. That's mainly what's keeping Twilight Masquerade up there. So, in the race for the top set, you know what I'm saying? Because that pull rate is crazy. 1 in 86 for a special illustration. 1 in 13 is pretty much the same for normal illustrations. Yeah, they're all 1 in 13. Is mainly the special illustration difference, which surprises me that Paldea Evolved is 1 in 32 and still up there at the top pretty much. But there's my rant kind of on Paradox Rift. Stellar Crown I don't think is number 1. I don't know how anyone can justify that Stellar Crown is number 1. Paradox Rift has everything except that big chase card. You know, it's got the Roaring Moon, but it's not, Roaring Moon's not a Greninja, and then the pull rates also help out with that Greninja card. But I think all the other illustrations, the special illustrations, really help that out. Altaria, Groudon, Steelix, those are great cards. And with this price, I mean, this is like a price below Obsidian Flames, which a lot of people don't talk highly of Obsidian Flames. So maybe this got printed into the oblivion, and maybe that's why prices still aren't crazy, even on TCG Player 103, because there's still so much supply. But as the supply of this set dries up, I think the demand is going to shoot up as well, and we might see a crazy increase. That's a might. That's a might. But I don't know that we'll see a Paradox Rift really reprint. It says 04. We're about to be in 010 in November. Let me know what you think about Paradox Rift. I see a lot of comments on other people's videos that Paradox Rift is underrated. I see like rankings videos where people put Paradox Rift in like A tier with other sets in B tier, and only like 151 and Paldea Evolved in S tier. So if we're saying this is a third best set, the price is not matching up with what people are saying. I agree that it's a great set. I think it's definitely like a Fusion Strike Chilling Rain type, comparing it to Sword and Shield era. So 93.51, that's way too low for me. That's all I'm saying. It's way too low for me.